I was 12 years old and I was super excited because it was the first day I was going to learn how to swim. I forgot about everything. I ran before my father. I reached the swimming pool. I stood there. I was so excited to take that plunge into the water. I got ready. I was almost ready to jump. Then I thought, I do not know how to swim. As I stood there pondering on that thought, all of a sudden, something got me by surprise. A push! And there I was in the swimming pool, and I did not know how to swim. Is that not how life pushes us? Right, Toastmaster? Is that not how life pushes you into something unexpected and expects you to know how to swim? I did not realize a vital lesson I learned on that day until I reached the age of 29. At the age of 29, after a long struggle of 3-4 years of switching between jobs, after switching 6 different jobs in 3 years, I ended up in an organization, a multinational company, where I got a good salary, out of which I could save a good amount, which ended up making me think that I could do my own business. With this little amount that I saved and a big amount that I borrowed from the bank, I decided to do my own business. It took me about 2 months to get all that money before I could invest that into the business. And it took me 3 days to lose all that money. Over a period of 2 months and 2 days, I lost 8,000 dinars in a business that I thought that I was good at. In a business that I thought that I knew everything about. And it just took me 2 days to realize I knew nothing about it. Everything was good until that moment. I had my savings, I had my life, I had nothing to complain about, I had a job. But then came push. I couldn't resist it. And there I was, struggling, trying to understand, how do I come out of this? How do I stay afloat? How do I breathe? I had taken up an office at rent, but I was due rent for the last 4 months. I had bought a lot of stocks. I didn't know how to sell. And I had employees whom I had hired, who had come all the way back from India here, whom I hadn't paid for 4 months. Slowly and surely, I reached the stage where I had to start calling up my friends, asking them to lend me at least 10 dinars. Because when life gives you that push, it makes sure that it pushes you into the deepest waters. My wife was expecting and she had delivered our new baby daughter. Expenses were mounting. I did not have a job that I kicked and I got into business, a job that I gave up in order to get into something much better. But things do change. And they changed for me. But they did not change until one day I gave a call to my mother. I called her up and I wanted to share with her that I was going through a tough time in life. And as all mothers do, she quietly heard everything I had to say. And she just told me a few words that reminded me of something very important. She said, Rafiq, do you remember that day when you were pushed into that swimming pool? I said, yes, Mom, I remember that really well because the person who pushed me there was Dad. And I remember that when I came out, he stood there smiling, he did not help me. I remember that day very well. She said, is that all you remember? Think again. That's not what happened that day. At the age of 12, I was excited to learn how to swim. I ran up to that pool, I got that push, and there I was in the swimming pool, struggling to stay afloat. But each and every time I struggled, I started sinking more. Each and every time I tried to stay afloat, I drowned. Each and every time I tried to take that gasp of breath, I choked. I kept struggling and struggling and struggling until that moment that my feet hit the bottom of the pool. The moment when my life was flashing before my eyes, 1,000 frames per second. And at that moment came the greatest lesson I ever learned in life. When my feet hit the bottom of the pool, I stood up and I realized that the water which I thought would drown me could reach only up to my hips. It was funny. I came out of the pool and I realized that all that mess, all that struggle was of no use. I was struggling with something that did not have the potential to drown me. I struggled for several minutes until that last gasp of breath that I took, and I decided to give up and let myself sink down. I realized it did not even have the potential to drown me. I realized several years later, at the age of 29, that this was life. We often come across our adversities and problems that life pushes us into. When you're least expecting it, when you did not expect that this would happen to you, and when you had taken that last breath, you decided to give up. You may realize that the problems and the adversities do not have the potential to drown you. Then what is it that drowns you? It's your struggle. I struggled for several months trying to understand that why did I lose that money? Why did the person that I trusted the most was disappeared with that entire 8,000 dinars? I tried to struggle to understand what I'm going to do next. I tried to struggle to understand what am I going to tell to my wife. I tried to struggle to understand what am I going to do next. But I never tried to calm down and understand if my problems had the capacity to drown me. There was one point when I had decided to give up, and I said to myself, this is it, I need to pack my bags up and I need to be off from Bahrain, a runaway, because I owe the banks a lot of money. I have a credit card which is outstanding for 7 months. I have a loan which I have defaulted for more than 6 months, a huge amount which I can never pay off. I don't have a job because I kicked on to my job, and I have a family that I need to support. I decided to show my back to all this and run away. And that phone call to my mother reminded me of that lesson that I learned way back as a 12-year-old. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have a problem that you're struggling to overcome? Do you have a problem that is trying to drown you in there? Stop struggling. And you will realize that your struggle is what's drowning you. And the minute you stop struggling, you know it. It does not have the potential to drown you. So the next time life has to give you that push, be ready to stop struggling. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rafiq, for really telling us that what doesn't kill you really makes you stronger. Everyone, we have 1 minute to mark your comments on the ballot sheet like this. Or any comments, notes you would like to give to Toastmaster, he inspired you to push someone into a pool, please mark that down. marked your comments, we'll move on to our second speaker of the evening. But first, I would like to introduce our evaluator. This evaluator in particular has a tenacious personality. Someone who has a lot of stars on. She is one of my favorite caramel skinned persons. So all of you that just recently got tan, you've got nothing on her. Please welcome Toastmaster Rafiq Ahmed to give me goals, objectives for Toastmasters.
Thank you, Master of Ceremony, for the lovely introduction. Once again, repeating the objectives of Project 10 speech. The objectives are to inspire the audience by appealing to noble motives and challenging the audience to achieve a higher level of beliefs or achievements. Appeal to the audience's needs and emotions using story, anecdotes, and quotes to add drama. Avoid using notes. Timer, please note that the time is 8 to 10 minutes. I wish my speaker all the best.
Now to introduce our second speaker of the evening. She is our in-house Beyonce. If you have special ceremonies or sessions you'd like someone to sing, she will gladly audition for you. When I first met her, I think I met her when she was only doing her third speech. So she's come a really long way now on her 10th speech. And I do hope that when she moves on to her advanced speeches, it will include a lot of singing elements. Please welcome Toastmaster Maram Maradi to do her Project 10 titled You Better Do Something. Toastmaster